Okay. All right. Well, let's get started here. First of all, good evening, everybody. Thank you for attending our latest installment of Parent University, featured by our SCL committee. We're excited to have our special speaker here, Sheriff Deputy Mr. Francis Foy from the Lake County Police Department. Along with our translator, Daisy Carrera, who will be helping with the Spanish translation throughout the presentation tonight. But just want to kind of say thank you guys for attending. This is a very important topic and really just has gotten that much more important as we've gone through the years, and our kids, our students that we see are getting phones and getting social media accounts just younger and younger, and really we just want to make sure you guys were knowledgeable with what the current trends are with social media. This is something that our SEL committee has taught our students on here for the last month and a half, through our weekly SEL Mondays, along with our all school assembly as well. So we really just wanted to drive home the seriousness of this, things to look out for. At the end of the day, we want everybody to be safe and make good, wise decisions here and choices while on social media. So without further ado, I'm going to kick it over to Mr. Foy.
Hi, everybody. Good evening.
Would you like
Thanks
to
for having
translate
me.
that first, Daisy?
I was going to let Daisy go, but
Okay. El señor Peterson, que es el director de la escuela secundaria de West Oak, le quiso dar la bienvenida. Gracias a todos por atender nuestra presentación hoy, que va a dar Francis Foy, que es de la oficina del sheriff del condado de Lake. Esto es parte de la comité de aprendizaje social emocional, y nada más queremos recordar de la importancia, ya que vemos a muchos de nuestros estudiantes que tienen sus teléfonos celulares, tienen redes sociales a edades más joven, pero queremos enseñarle a los estudiantes maneras de cómo quedarse seguros y hacer decisiones buenas cuando tienen redes de internet o estén usando sus teléfonos e internet en casa.
So, hi again, everybody. Again, I'm Francis Foy. I am a deputy with the Lake County Sheriff's Office, and I appreciate the opportunity to come talk to you guys about some internet safety tips, cyberbullying, and sexting. So, a few of the topics that we see on a regular basis with students across Lake County. We're in the 21st century, right? And we use tablets, cell phones, computers, and gaming systems all to talk online sometimes. So we'll go ahead and get started with our presentation.
Para el día de hoy vamos a hablar sobre seguridad del internet, el acoso cibernético y sexting, o que enviar mensajes sexuales. De nuevo, estamos viendo muchos de nuestros estudiantes que tienen sus celulares, tabletas, pero también que usan videojuegos cuando usan el internet, y vamos a hablar sobre estas cosas hoy.
So just a little bit about me. I have been in law enforcement for over 22 years now. I teach a lot of school safety topics. I'm an ALICE instructor, which involves our lockdown drills. I'm an evidence technician, so part of that involves our cyber section and electronic evidence collection. I am currently a school resource officer for the Lake County Sheriff's Office, and I am a former cyber crimes detective. So I have investigated many cases involving the use of computers in crimes, as well as people wanting to come meet others that they met online, and not necessarily in a good way.
De nuevo, nada más está explicando el señor Francis Foy de quién es. Él es parte del equipo de recursos de escuelas comunitarias. Tiene 22 años como agente policial. Es instructor de entretenimiento ALICE, que son simulacros escolares en donde enseñamos a los estudiantes cómo mantenerse seguros. También es oficial de apoyos escolares, y anterior era policía de crímenes cibernéticos, y para darle ejemplos, cuando personas quieren ir a conocer a personas que no deben de estar conociendo, de eso se trata su trabajo.
A couple weeks ago, I was invited in. I did speak to the students, the student body, about being safe online. So a lot of what I'm going to talk about tonight, your child has probably already heard, but I like to reinforce it with the parents as well.
De nuevo, acaba de visitar a la escuela secundaria de West Oak y habló con sus estudiantes. Entonces, sus estudiantes ya saben de estos temas en que vamos a hablar hoy sobre la presentación, pero ahora queremos presentársela a ustedes.
So the first thing I like to tell parents is children under the age of 18, they don't have privacy when it comes to being in your house, have an electronic device. You are entitled to go through their stuff. You should have an idea of what your children are doing online. It's very important to be a part of their online presence. Privacy for children under 18, it doesn't happen in Illinois. You are allowed, whether they bought that device or not. If they are under 18, you are allowed to go through and see what is on their device. If they have social media, if they have a gaming system account, you should have access to it. Passwords, friends with them, whatever you want to, whatever you're comfortable with. We're not talking about not trusting children. We're talking about having open communication and them not giving you a reason not to trust them. Phones, don't keep them in the bedroom. Don't let your children charge them while they're sleeping. Sleeping should be sleeping only. The teachers and staff would really appreciate a well-rested child and student when they come to class versus having some boredom middle of the night going through and searching social media or speaking to other people because they have devices in their room.
De nuevo, ahorita estamos hablando de privacidad para los estudiantes. Los niños no deben de tener esa privacidad si tienen 18 años o menor. Ustedes tienen el derecho en el estado de Illinois de tener sus contraseñas si son menores de 18 años de edad. Si ellos tienen sus redes sociales, los juegos, ustedes tienen el derecho de tener sus contraseñas. Y no es que no tenemos confianza en los estudiantes, sino es que queremos abrir esa comunicación con ellos para tener esa confianza, para poder hablar al aire libre con ellos. De nuevo, aunque si es algo que ellos compraron, de nuevo, si tienen debajo de los 18 años de edad, ustedes tienen derechos como padres a esas contraseñas, a esas cuentas.
So some of the responsibilities we have as parents is, again, being aware of what our children are doing, whether it's in person or online. Check your child's devices every so often, kind of know what they're doing online. And obviously have a conversation with them and communicate about the dangers of online. Children don't always understand and see the real world. And unfortunately, there are a lot of evil things that go on outside there. There's a lot of dangers of being their friend and, just expect them that they're going to do what you think they're supposed to do. Have a conversation with it. Kids are very smart with electronic devices. Many, they can do way more things than we can as adults because they're exposed to these devices on a regular basis. It's very easy to get curious online and start discovering things and it's way different than, 20, 30 years ago. So anything that we see usually isn't new. Most schools experience the same sort of issues of photos being shared or comments being made and things like that. So talk to your children about the dangers and the repercussions and where it can lead.
Ahora vamos a hablar sobre la responsabilidad de los padres. De nuevo, nada más recordar de mantener información sobre los aparatos que tienen, saber las cosas que están haciendo cuando están en línea y hablar con ellos sobre los peligros de estar comunicándose con personas que no saben, que según son amigos. De nuevo, quiere recordarle, porque los niños son inteligentes, ahora tienen sus tabletas y saben cómo navegar estos diferentes aparatos, pero de nuevo, la responsabilidad como padres es hablar con ellos sobre estas discusiones.
One thing that we recommend to parents is give your child an out. Sometimes things are sent to them or they show up at an event and it's an uncomfortable situation and they don't know how to deal with it. So If you allow your child to tell you when something bad has happened, it should be a lot easier of a conversation. It's what we call the golden ticket. Now, if they go and make a mistake and it's something that's, serious and has some repercussions, they can get what we call like a reduced sentence. Being honest with you about what happened versus you going to find it out. It's two different ways. So you can work through it with your child if they accidentally did something. And what we're talking about here is go to a house and there's drinking, let's say, or they get a photo sent to them and they send a photo back and it's an inappropriate photo, something that they would be embarrassed to normally share with you. People make mistakes all the time. We work through these problems. It's the same thing for your child. Help find a solution. Don't just ground them or punish them, take away the whatever. And when they are honest about things, take that into consideration.
Ahorita estamos hablando de permitir que su hijo o hija le diga cuando algo malo está pasando. Pueden decirles también que tienen una sentencia reducida, así que de nuevo, trabajar con ellos cuando algo está pasando. Sabemos que todos cometemos errores, ¿verdad? Todos somos humanos, toda la gente comete errores, pero ayudarles a buscar una solución para que ellos sean honestos y ustedes tengan esta comunicación abierta con ellos.
So many schools contact us on a regular basis about cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is the same as bullying, except using an electronic device. Okay, it can be as simple as taunting or teasing, and it gets to a point where they might make a comment or a suggestion, or just want to offend or threaten. So we take cyberbullying very seriously because of where it can lead. Many cases have involved the worst case scenario is suicides by students. So we don't want students to be cyberbullies, and we don't want our students to be cyberbullied, right? If you see, someone being bullied or someone is bullying, we tell the students to report it to a trusted adult. And that could be the principal, a teacher, the parents, guardian, etc. Someone they trust that will give them a good advice about where to go. Many times schools handle issues and it doesn't require law enforcement intervention. In extreme cases, it requires us to come in and help resolve the situation. Cyberbullying, it can spread very quickly, with inappropriate photos or memes and whatever. Obviously, we can see electronically things can be sent out in seconds, and it has a lasting impact for many years.
Ahora vamos a hablar sobre el acoso cibernético, y esto es cuando una persona comete un acoso sobre comunicaciones que son obscenas con la intención de ofender, amenazar o herir a la otra persona o la propiedad de la otra persona en quien están comunicando electrónicamente. Se puede dirigir a esa persona o a una persona familiar o un miembro de persona de su casa. A veces hemos visto situaciones que esto puede también, cuando estamos evitando el acoso cibernético, una cosa que dijo el oficial Foy es que puede también ocurrir suicidio, y eso es lo que no queremos para nuestros estudiantes. No queremos que ningún estudiante le pase el acoso, pero tampoco queremos que los estudiantes estén haciendo el acoso a otras personas. Cuando eso pasa, por favor de reportarlo o recordarle a sus hijos que pueden reportar eso con un adulto con quien le tiene confianza, y eso puede ser en la escuela, y a veces también se pueden intervenir los oficiales para ayudar con si pasa esta situación.
And I just highlighted a few laws regarding cyberbullying. So we have no intention of arresting juveniles, students. However, there are laws that protect victims. So just like adults, there's a lot of laws that are related to cyberbullying. So you see stalking, the aggravated stalking, cyber stalking, creating a fake account. It's been seen around the country where someone creates a fake account of another person just to embarrass them. That's a form of cyberbullying. And it we've seen it many times where we have to investigate and figure out who started the account and why. It's taking the making fun of a person to an extreme of creating an actual account and looking like it's their account. It's cyberbullying. It's as I said before, can lead to extreme cases. But again, it's something we see on a regular basis, and no one really wants to be a part of it. We should do what we can to try to avoid and educate our children about bullying, and instead just being good people.
Aquí vamos a compartir unas leyes de acoso cibernético. El acoso puede ser agravado o cibernético de nuevo. Hay también personificación falsa, que eso es cuando una persona se hace de mentir que es otra persona para defraudar a esa persona. O también otro ejemplo es de crear una cuenta falsa haciendo que es la otra persona cuando no es. De nuevo, estamos nada más dejándoles saber y comunicar que a veces si pasan estas situaciones, pueden llegar a medios extremos y esas son cosas que queremos evitar.
So some of the reports that we take are children who receive a message from someone. Might be the most beautiful person they've ever seen in their lives. They get a text message, email, whatever, and the person sends them a photo, and maybe they're not wearing any clothing, and they ask for a photo in return. So young people sometimes say, well, it's only fair. They take a picture of themselves, maybe not wearing any clothing, and they send it back. Well, 9 times out of 10, if not more, the person on the other side is not really who is in the photo that was originally sent. So parents find out about it. They make a police report. That's one example of one of the reports that we've taken. If you ever need to make a police report, get as much information as you can about where this all started from, who was involved, and write it down onto a Word document or a piece of paper. But when you contact your local police department or the sheriff's office, you can provide everything from screen captures or user IDs, the social network site. Not really any social network site is anonymous. We can go and subpoena information from most social media sites, if not all of them. They all have servers. So information can be obtained about IP addresses, user accounts, things like that. All that would go to a detective for follow-up and possibly criminal charges. What we have seen before is it's not usually one victim. It can be anywhere up to 250 victims from one offender. So again, people make mistakes online all the time. We will do everything we can to sort it all out and fix the problem afterwards, but sometimes it's a little bit more difficult. So the easier it is up front about not getting involved, or if you accidentally get involved, get the information that you need and help us investigate it.
Ahora vamos a dar información sobre hacer un reporte a la policía. Pueden llamar al departamento de policía local o pueden ir a la estación de policías. Voy a dar un resumen de lo que acaba de mencionar el oficial Foy, que cuando están compartiendo estos estudiantes diferentes fotos, a veces son fotos, si una persona le puede mandar una foto que no tienen ropa y otra persona se la puede regresar. Dijo que 9 veces de las 10 siempre no es esa persona. Si esto es una situación que pasa, por favor de obtener mucha información que pueden, hasta pueden tomar fotos de las pantallas y luego hacer ese reporte a la policía. Ellos se pueden fijar en las diferentes cuentas de las personas que los están usando y luego en casos llega a los medios que pueden ser cargos criminales también con otra persona. So, si eso es algo que pasa, de nuevo, siempre tener en cuenta que por favor agarren tanta información que pueda.
Sometimes students will send sexually explicit photos to each other. Anyone under the age of 18, that can fall into the category of child pornography. If your student, if your child gets anything sent to them, make a report as soon as possible. Don't send that information back out. We can track information back, and the faster we can get to it, the easier it is to keep it from spreading, because curious people all the time send things out. I tell students all the time, who your friends are today, they might not be your friends tomorrow. They shouldn't feel pressured into sending photos or engaging in conversations that they're not comfortable with. So as soon as practical, tell your child if they ever see anything like this to contact a trusted adult. Tell them, have them tell you. And you know, these conversations aren't easy to have, but it's a necessary thing. Almost once a week, us as the sheriff's office have to investigate some sort of sexting type, explicit message or photos that have been sent out electronically, and try and help students spare them from some embarrassment.
De nuevo, vamos a hablar sobre sexting o enviar mensajes sexuales. Es la acta de enviar esos mensajes sexuales explícitos de fotos sin ropa o casi sin ropa. Son conversaciones que a veces no son fáciles de tener con sus estudiantes, pero son necesarias. Estaba mencionando que luego pasa al menos una vez a la semana que tienen a veces negocios que esto pasa con los padres. De nuevo, son conversaciones que no son fáciles, pero son necesarias, y de nuevo, de siempre obtener tanta información que puedan si esto es una situación que les pasa.
So, sextortion, kind of what I touched on before. What is it? This is where a photo or an explicit message is received from somebody and you don't know who they are. So they then ask for you to send a photo back. If you send a photo back, that's when they'll start the scam and say, if you don't send me money, I'm gonna, or more photos, I'm gonna send this out to everybody you know. It is an extreme scam we see, and it's designed to embarrass people. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, they keep statistics on these types of scams and these types of cases. They are a wealth of knowledge. So again, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the center that you normally would see, missing children on milk cartons back in the day, they are the clearinghouse for the U.S. government for investigating any sort of child pornography case. Another case that you might want to look up is Amanda Todd. That is there's a video out there. It is a girl who was sextorted and embarrassed and moved schools, and the harassment continued to the point where she took her own life. And it's a very well-known case, and a person was prosecuted for it. But it's the extreme case, and we don't see these cases like in Lake County very often, thankfully. But we're not in a bubble. Things can happen all over. So these are some of the resources I would tell you to research as an adult and look into, and just to familiarize yourself, because many people don't understand some of the scams that are out there.
Ahora vamos a hablar sobre sextortion, o es extorsión sexual, y dio un ejemplo de, es cuando una persona le manda una foto a otra persona y luego de regreso quiere que le mande una para atrás, y cuando esa persona se la manda para atrás, la otra persona lo está haciendo para como un tipo de fraude. Ahora le está pidiendo, le dice a esta persona, si no me mandas más fotos o dinero, les voy a compartir eso con muchas personas. Hay una situación con una estudiante que pasó, no fue en Lake County, pero de Amanda Todd, que le pasó algo, esa situación a ella, y luego se tomó su vida, cometió suicidio. Pero eso es un caso muy extremo. No los hemos visto en Lake County, pero en el condado de Lake, pero no es de decir que no puede pasar. Por eso estos recursos y estos apoyos que estamos compartiendo con ustedes son muy importantes para tener estas conversaciones.
When you get familiar with the internet and phones and devices, there are many applications out there that are very secretive. You know, a common one is a fake calculator. It's designed to hide photos and videos. You know, applications like Snapchat has a private setting where you can, you know, move things you don't want people you're friends with to see. So that could also be your parents. You can easily go into your child's phone, look at the battery usage, and see what applications they're using. If something doesn't look familiar, or you're not familiar with something, research it, look into it. Children should not have secrets. And children at obviously at the schools we're talking about in the elementary and the middle schools are very young. So this isn't, there shouldn't be any hiding things from parents. We shouldn't be at that point. You shouldn't be getting into a lot of these sort of topics, but unfortunately, this is where we're at. And I understand a lot of these topics aren't very comfortable, you know, to discuss and to hear about. But in Lake County, we have had cases, you know, where people have come to meet, you know, adults have come to meet minors. And instead, thankfully, on many occasions, they've met law enforcement like myself, and they've been arrested. But, you know, things get shared online all the time. And sometimes there's ways that children are embarrassed that they get them and they just want to keep them secret. And it's our job as adults and as parents to make sure we know what our kids are doing and educate them again on the ramifications.
Mr. Foy, after Daisy gets done translating, I have a follow-up question to this slide. Okay.
Sure, certainly. Thanks.
Okay, go ahead, Daisy.
Ahora vamos a hablar sobre escondiendo fotos y videos. Hay diferentes maneras en cuales estudiantes o personas pueden esconder fotos o videos. Hay diferentes aplicaciones donde pueden poner esas fotos y tenerla de secreto, o hay como una aplicación como una que parece que es calculadora, pero es en donde están moviendo esas fotos a esa aplicación. Por eso es importante de fijarnos y ver en qué aplicaciones están los estudiantes usando con más tiempo. Y luego hay instancias en donde esto pasa, y ha pasado en el condado de Lake, cuando personas de mayor de edad van a conocer a personas menores de edad, pero de nuevo, hay veces lo que ha pasado es que en vez los arrestan porque el condado sheriff del condado de Lake hace este trabajo para que esas cosas no pasen. De nuevo, no son cosas, no son tópicos que son fácil para hablar con los estudiantes, pero son necesarios para educar a los estudiantes en las cosas que les puede pasar.
All right, Daisy, you are amazing. I don't know how you do it.
Great job. Daisy.
Yes. So, you know, I would assume here with our families that are watching this, you guys are probably aware of Snapchat. And, you know, if you are not aware of For My Eyes Only, you can always come to the school. We can show you how to look that up. But really the telltale sign to see if that has been enabled and things are being hidden under there is that there'll be a keypad when you click on that icon for My Snaps Only. There'll be a code that you would have to type in to get into it. Mr. Foy, so I'm sure a number of people know what Snapchat is. They may have the app. A lot of people would not be familiar with the calculator app. Could you just explain what that is and how it works there, Mr. Foy?
Absolutely. You can Google or go into whatever device you have, whether it's Apple or an Android device, and search for like a secret calculator or a hidden photo app. And it'll bring you up to one application like this. It's a calculator. It looks like the app looks like a calculator. You can use it to do simple math and subtraction, things like that, like a normal calculator would. But when you enter a certain code, it allows you basically to use it as a vault. It's a folder used to store photos. So again, the trick I use is looking at the battery usage. If you see the calculator being used on a regular basis, or two different style calculator apps being used separately, there's kind of a concern or something that should be looked into a little further and see how, you know, most phones wouldn't have more than one calculator app on it, so it wouldn't have a need for it. There are devices and applications and programs out there that are used and created for one purpose and used for another. So, you know, it's just, again, something to pay attention to and see why someone would have something like that. Well, it's in case somebody grabs their phone and they don't want them to see normal stuff in a normal photo album.
Yeah, and I think there's just is the specific code like decimal and then 789 or decimal and 123 to unlock that?
I think you can set up your own code from what
Okay.
it's a familiar, this is an older app too. And every day there's new apps that are being used and created. So it's always trying to stay up on the latest trends.
La pregunta fue, y también algo que quería compartir el señor Peterson, es de la aplicación de Snapchat. Tiene una aplicación dentro de esa aplicación que se llama For My Eyes Only, o que sería en español solo para mis ojos. Y pueden, si tienen preguntas de cómo entrar y navegar para que puedan ver si el teléfono de su estudiante lo tiene, pueden ir a preguntarles ahí en la escuela. Otra aplicación es la aplicación de calculadora. Personas tienen su código propio, y luego ya después cuando meten ese código abre una diferente aplicación donde hay fotos que no quieren tener en su teléfono normal. Así que los tienen con esa contraseña o ese código que tienen que ponerle en esa calculadora, y ya después se cambia y enseña ese álbum de fotos.
I mean, I guess you can't see it, but you can just search it, and then all the photos seem to be scantily clad people. It's not necessarily you hiding your tax information, which could be a valid use, or other passwords and things like that. So obviously people have stumbled onto these applications and want to use them for and they're being promoted for like the photo on the slide shows, sexually explicit things.
De nuevo, no es como que si en situaciones que han visto, la mayoría de las veces es para tener secretos, imágenes. No es tanto de tener información o códigos de contraseñas personales, sino que son fotografías, como pueden ver aquí en esta presentación.
One of the things that we should be able to do online is verify who we're talking to. So our children and our students, they should be able to explain to you who they are talking to, how they met them. Is it a real person or not? If they can say, I met this person at a camp or at a clinic or on a sports team or at school, that's pretty verified that the person is real. But if it turns into, I just met them on social media sites, they live in another state or live in another country, I've never seen them face to face, their webcam is always broken, I don't know where they live, those are red flags. We should be able to ask them, how do you know them? What's their telephone number? Now, not everybody knows everybody's telephone number or emails, but they can get it, right? I have a contact list, so I might not know your telephone number, but I know where to go find it, and then I can regurgitate that back to my parents, and I can explain to them how I know them. If somebody out there has never been seen in real life, but we have conversations all the time, there should be some red flags to figure out, are we really talking to who we think we're talking to? There's many ways that people will just go and try and, adults talk to children for whatever reason. We should always be cautious about those people out there.
Ahora vamos a hablar sobre verificación, algunas maneras o recursos en cual pueden hablar con sus hijos o hijas sobre tener estas conversaciones. Es preguntarles con quién hablas, cuál es su nombre, en dónde viven, cómo los conoces, cuál es su número de teléfono. En la mayoría de los casos, si es alguien o un amigo que conocen en el internet, normalmente los estudiantes pueden decirle, bueno, no sé su número de teléfono exactamente, pero pero sabemos de cómo obtener esa información. Cuando las respuestas no se oyen normales, es cuando deben de estar preguntando, más preguntas para ver si de veras conocen esas personas en quien están hablando en estas redes sociales o sobre el Internet.
As adults, if we use applications like LinkedIn or Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram, right? We if we get requests, we look and say, oh yeah, I know this person. I met them here, or oh yeah, they're a friend of a friend. Somehow we do that. Now there are some children that just accept everybody, and they want to grow their friends list, and they want to be social media influencers, and the list goes on, and then they get into private chats. And then sometimes those private chats move over to other secure platforms or not secure platforms or a little bit more private. Again, those are red flags. If my child is playing an online game of Minecraft or some other game, and someone communicating with them online wants them to move over to a separate application, that is a red flag. Why? Why are we moving over here? Because that's then an opportunity for them to obtain information, photos, share things that many times are not appropriate.
Voy a decir un resumen de lo que acaba de compartir. Es que normalmente como adultos, como adultos también nosotros tenemos redes sociales, tenemos LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, lo que sea, y luego nos llegan, que si queremos ser amigos con unas personas, nosotros nos fijamos, ok, sí conozco a esta persona y los aceptamos. Los estudiantes, es algo diferente. Ellos quieren, tratar de ser populares o tener más amigos como puedan, so aceptan a muchas personas diferentes que a lo mejor no conocen. Entonces es muy importante de tener en cuenta estas conversaciones y verificaciones y enseñárselas de cómo verificar que es una persona, de veras, que es una persona que conocen.
If you feel you need to have some software monitoring, there's a couple of apps right here, Bark and WebWatcher. They are designed to, they have built-in keywords that if your child is searching for things or having conversations for things, that the alerts can be sent out. They're very well known. They're both subscription-based, but it's just a couple of applications I've seen through several training classes I've been to, and they seem to do a good job and give some parents a peace of mind. Now, I'm not saying that you need software to monitor what your children are doing, but if you ever have a concern and it's something you want to look into, I'd research a couple of these pieces of software. I don't think you unmuted, Daisy, sorry.
Ooh, okay, I hate when that
happens to all of us.
Thank you. Thank you for stopping me before I kept going. Ahora vamos a compartir programas de monitorear los aparatos de sus estudiantes. El señor Foy está compartiendo las aplicaciones WebWatcher y Bark. Esto tiene palabras claves en cual les alerta a los adultos las cosas, si una comunicación que no deben estar teniendo sus estudiantes. No son cosas que estamos exigiendo que deben de tener, pero estas son opciones para ustedes de tener en cuenta.
So this is my contact information. I'm happy to receive emails, give me a telephone call if you have some specific questions or concerns about what's going on. We at the Lake County Sheriff's Office, we are happy to have deputies respond and answer questions. Many of you might live in the Mundelein Police Department's jurisdiction. The same thing goes for them. So feel free to reach out. That's what we're here for. That's what we do. Answer questions. I'm happy to hang out for a little while after this presentation just to see if there's any questions. But again, I know this is recorded, so a lot of this might be viewed later on. Again, the internet can be a great thing. Devices are amazing. The new technology every day seems to make our lives easier. Be careful. Tell your children about the dangers that are out there. Make them aware. That's the whole goal. We're not telling you not to use the internet, not to use these devices, but use them and be careful when you are.
Aquí puede encontrar el contacto del señor Foy, pero también y su correo electrónico y el número de teléfono. Siempre están disponibles para darle respuestas a sus preguntas o si nada más necesitan urgencias o diferentes apoyos, siempre están ahí para hablar con ustedes. Y de nuevo, también ya había hablado con nuestros estudiantes hace unas semanas, pero vamos a esperar a ver si tienen preguntas también, que los pueden poner en el chat.
And Mr. Peterson, I appreciate the opportunity to come speak to the
Yeah.
parents, and again, a couple weeks ago to the children. So thank you very much.
No, and thank you. I thank you for your willingness to take time out of your schedule here, out of your evening, and come join us and speak with us about this just really important topic. At this time, if there are any parents or anybody that is viewing this that has a question, you can please put that in the chat room now, and we can address that with Mr. Foy. If you don't mind here, Mr. Foy, I have a couple questions, and
Absolutely.
I kind of already know the answers, but I just would like you to speak towards this as well.
Okay.
But let's say somebody has something inappropriate on their phone, and then let's say there's a police issue involved with it. What happens to that picture or that message if I delete it? Does it go away?
Well, many times it does not because of the cloud. There are servers as well. As I said before, Snapchat is a social media site that a lot of people believe that things disappear in a few seconds. That's not the case. I have sent subpoenas to Snapchat. I've received information back. So once things go out on the internet, it's very difficult to get those things back ever. Same thing if you have devices, because as I said before, you may think you're sending something to one person, and that person may not be your friend the next day, and then it's going to spread because someone wants to embarrass you or say, see what I got, and send this out. And then it stays on multiple devices. So if you ever get anything, don't send it to anybody. Just contact authorities, and we'll take it from there.
All right. And then my last question here is, what kind of, as an officer here, what kind of charges can be filed towards a perpetrator that is found to have taken part in, like sextortion or distributing or possessing inappropriate pictures of minors? What kind of charges could be involved in that?
So indecent solicitation of a child, possession of child pornography, those are some of the extreme cases. Both are felonies, and in certain cases, some things may make you a sex offender, and you have to register as a sex offender for at least 10 years. At the sheriff's office, we see people coming back into society and that have to, they've been arrested for those types of offenses, and they are now have to register with us, through our jail until they get released out into a halfway house or whatever condition of their parole. And, if they screw up any of the restrictions and requirements, they might wind up being a lifetime registrant. And that's a horrible thing to have to go through, all for just the simple thing of sharing a photo or possessing photos or things like that.
All right, and thank you for those answers there. It's always good to hear that, for us parents to kind of know what could possibly come from this kind of thing. I don't see any questions in the chat box here, so I think we're going to leave it as that tonight. So I just want to say thank you again here, Mr. Foy, for coming in and presenting on this topic. Like I said, very, very important, just great information for parents and guardians of just young people. They got a lot of things, a lot of bad things can happen here. And just so that, the more that we're aware of these things, the more we can protect our kids. And that's just so important.
Absolutely.
And I just want to say thank you to Daisy Carrera. She's our translating extraordinaire. She's phenomenal. So thank you again, Daisy, for your time tonight as well.
Thank you, Daisy.
Thank you both. Thanks
All
for the information, the questions, and thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right. Well, that is all for us tonight here, guys. Our next Parent University is going to be on December 14th. Be on the lookout for some notices on that and the topic in our parent newsletters to come. But thank you, and have a good rest of your night. All right.